Today, we're going to discuss adaptability. This is the 48th episode of the Crossing Thin Ice podcast series brought to you by Actuarial Risk Management. My name's Dave Ingram, and as always, I'm joined by Max Rudolph. Today's podcast is unusual. We have a subtitle. The subtitle is A Vital New Business Role for Long-Term Success, the Adaptor. We're going to be talking about what we think that your adapter person should be doing. We believe that this new role of the adapter has become vital for ensuring long-term success. This position will be focused on identifying ways for the organization to proactively anticipate and navigate through major changes in financial markets, as well as societal and natural environment changes, ensuring that organizational resilience and sustainability happens. Today, we'll explore how the adapter influences strategic decision-making, leverages technological innovations, and fosters an adaptable corporate culture, setting the stage for enduring success in a world where change is the only constant. Our aim for this Crossing Thin Ice podcast series is to help you with your enterprise risk management program and increase your risk knowledge. We hope that you're already taking advantage of our complimentary quarterly newsletter and webcast on a variety of risk management topics, and we encourage you to share with board members, C-suite leaders, peers, and students, anybody who's interested in continuous learning and risk management. As a reminder, nothing in today's podcast is intended to be investment advice. We're here to provide educational material on risk topics without getting lost in the weeds. So, Max, why don't you start us off with what you can tell us about focusing on this changing environment?
Thanks, Dave. Understanding the current risk environment is crucial, especially as it evolves. Identifying the leading indicators of change allows risk managers to anticipate shifts and adapt their risk strategies before disruptions occur. Knowledge and experience can help the risk managers show foresight on both internal and external indicators, revealing shifts as they become more likely. These can include disruptions caused by economic downturns, regulatory changes, or an evolving climate. Effective risk management depends on our ability to decode these signals and adjust our approaches to maintain resilience and see opportunities before others. Projecting potential future outcomes or forecasting, starting with current conditions, allows organizations to prepare and adapt more effectively to a range of future outcomes. Resources can be allocated more efficiently when risk management goals are considered under multiple scenarios. This allows for quicker responses, especially when looking at moderate outlier and extreme tail narratives, and improves strategic planning and decision making. With our forecasting strategies in place, Dave will explore how to test these predictions against potential real-world crises through stress and scenario testing.
Thanks, Max. Well, we've said this many times before, and we think it's important enough that saying it again is a good idea. Stress and scenario analysis are valuable tools for overcoming overconfidence and for exposing weaknesses in a risk management program. They allow companies to measure resilience under adverse conditions and to challenge management's assumptions about risk models. Beyond just meeting regulatory requirements, these techniques can uncover blind spots and identify strategic and operational vulnerabilities, not just financial ones. The company adapter needs to emphasize the need for imagination and for incorporating unthinkable interdependence in scenario development, particularly for emerging risks where historic data may not be predictive. This helps anticipate changes in correlations during extreme events and provides insights into a firm's preparedness under different scenarios. Importantly, stress testing needs to go beyond just validating compliance. It should also inform your decision-making processes and leadership responses to crises, as human factors wind up always being critical stress points. We would caution you against over-reliance on historical data when you're doing this, urging companies to calibrate their models to future conditions rather than solely relying on past events. Overall, stress and scenario analysis are powerful tools for building risk resilience, challenging management's bias, and preparing for the unexpected. including potential systemic risks and black swan events. Moving along, I want to talk now about adapting to technology and especially artificial intelligence. The adapter would encourage a balanced and proactive approach to AI adoption, one that leverages the technology's benefits while vigilantly managing the associated risks, maintaining a human-centric perspective on risk management. The adapter would advise their company to take a cautious and thoughtful approach when adopting artificial intelligence or AI for critical operations like underwriting, claims processing, and customer service. While AI holds great promise for enhancing efficiency and improving experiences for underwriters, claims analysts, and customers, the adapter would emphasize the need to be careful in managing those risks. First and foremost, the adapter would caution against over-reliance on AI systems, which can be prone to hidden biases, opaque decision making, and unexpected failures. Insurers should maintain human oversight and the ability to override AI recommendations, particularly for high stakes decisions. Additionally, the adapters would stress the importance of robust stress testing and scenario analysis, as we said just a few minutes ago, to assess the resilience of AI-driven systems under adverse conditions. Equally critical, the adapter would advise insurers to maintain strong connections with their frontline employees and continuously gather their insights. Frontline perspectives are often the first to detect shifts in customer behavior or emerging risks that may not be captured by top-down AI-driven assessments. Now let's shift to another area where the adapter needs to focus on the enormous demographic changes that are sweeping the globe. Max, can you tell us what needs to happen there?
Thanks, Dave. Demographic shifts are impacted by pandemics, military engagements, and natural disasters, but mostly are due to the slow moving and building of the next generation. We've increased longevity at the same time as the birth rate has fallen below the sustainable rate of 2.1 per female in many countries. Only sub-Saharan Africa is growing its population in a way that the number of workers per retiree is not shrinking to levels of concern. Low fertility rates and high old age dependency ratios are already becoming burdensome in Japan, Europe, and China. Market strategies and risk assessments need to consider disruption to everything from consumer behavior to workforce management and social policy. The adapter's role is to foresee how these shifts impact the organization and modify applicable risk strategies. Organizations can get ahead of and capitalize on these trends by anticipating them through the forecasting process. Environmental concerns, including climate change, are no longer a problem just for the next generation. They demand a comprehensive adaptation strategy, considering both the immediate and long-term impacts on operations, supply chains, and financial markets. The adapter must lead the integration of climate risk into the organization's overall risk management process. Robust strategies that consider fragility due to extreme weather events, resource scarcities, and financial assumptions are needed. Climate change acts as a threat multiplier that makes the net impact worse through higher order interactions between risks. Examples that become known only in hindsight include conflict driven by drought and lower GDP and interest rates driven by extreme weather events. While environmental and demographic shifts pose significant challenges, the macroeconomic impacts of globalization's decline also require a strategic response. Dave, how will this impact risk managers?
Well, you're right, Max. With this decline in globalization, risk managers face new challenges in managing any international exposures as trade barriers rise and global supply chains are disrupted. The adapter has to navigate these changes by fostering greater adaptability in operational and strategic plans, ensuring that the organization can remain competitive and compliant in a fragmented global market. This might involve diversifying supply chains or reevaluating market entry strategies to mitigate the risk of protectionism and global instability. Finally, here, let's talk about financial stability of organizations and how they're being tested by rising debt levels and inflation, things that make financial risk management more critical than ever. Max, tell us what you think that the adapter should be doing there.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. High and rising debt levels have historically led to inflation. posing threats to economic stability. Careful management by governments, investors, and businesses is required to avoid negative impacts on investment returns, borrowing costs, and overall financial health. These adverse results can also impact other risks that lead to food insecurity. The adapter must develop strategies to protect the organization from the risks associated with high inflation and debt, such as currency devaluation and interest rate risks. An added complexity is the government response, and if it's successful. This requires foresight in forecasting external assumptions and providing scenarios to aid decision making during uncertain times around product design, liquidity, and asset allocation across a variety of time horizons. Expanding our focus globally beyond our home market can reveal insights and strategies about risk assessment and product design and investment management. A broader perspective allows us to learn from the solutions implemented by others, what worked and what didn't. Emerging risks are rarely encountered everywhere all at once. There often is time to adopt strategies in advance or help the region initially afflicted. We see this with demographics and spillover diseases, and even with sea level rise. Embracing a process of environmental scanning improves our overall adaptability and resilience. Now we'll shift from thinking about risks in the environment to how we'll go about adapting our risk management program. Dave, what's an adaptable culture?
Thanks, Mac. Well, first of all, we need to have an adaptable culture because the whole idea of the adapter here needs to be supported throughout the company, not just by a few. So the adapter will have to build and maintain this adaptable culture. And this culture should go beyond just training programs and should aim to build off of lived life experiences that foster risk awareness and agility across the organization. Those are things that exist that can be tapped into. The adapter has to emphasize that risk culture is not just a one-time initiative, but rather it's an ongoing process of active engagement for everyone, where all employees have to understand their role in managing risk and making risk-informed decisions. This active engagement helps drive strategic decisions and ensure that risk management framework remains relevant and responds to the emerging challenges. My favorite quote here, Tom Wilson, who was then the CRO of Allianz, once said, "Risk management is a culture, not a cult. It only works if everyone lives it, not if it's just practiced by a few high priests." Importantly, the adapter strongly encourages the idea of diversity in risk management practice, as it helps build the systems that can recognize and adapt after unexpected events. This diversity in thinking and approaches to risk management is crucial for ensuring the organization's overall resilience. The adapter also cautions against over-reliance on historical data, as we've mentioned previously. Ultimately, the adapter's vision for adaptable risk culture in the insurance industry is one that encourages continuous learning, flexible decision-making, and a proactive mindset. Identifying and managing emerging risk is a key feature. This culture should be embedded across all levels of the organization and aligned with the broader strategic objectives. Along with the adaptable culture is an even more fundamental idea, that of the adaptable mindset. An adaptable mindset involved a readiness to change and a willingness to modify plans and strategies in response to new information or changed conditions. It's characterized by open-mindedness, curiosity, and the capacity to think creative about solving problems. Individuals with an adaptable mindset are crucial for organizations aiming to thrive in dynamic environments, as they help to drive the culture towards embracing change. Key elements of an adaptable mindset in risk management include openness to change, open to reassessing and updating risk management frameworks when new information becomes available, continuous learning, planned resilience, scenario thinking, collaboration and communication, proactive decision-making, leveraging of technology and data, and balancing consistency with agility. The adapter would place high importance on developing that adaptable work group within the risk management area. That group needs to understand their vital role in bringing the organization safely through difficult times. That will involve things like selecting diverse team members who can bring different perspectives and strengths to risk management, and cross-training so those perspectives can be informed by actual knowledge of each other's roles and responsibility. Training and continuous development are key, ensuring that the team stays updated on the latest risk management tools and strategies. Encouraging a collaborative environment where innovative ideas are rewarded and learning from past decisions, both good and bad, is promoted by the adapter. People all need to feel safe sharing ideas, questioning assumptions, and admitting uncertainties. Now let's look at some real-world applications of those concepts through some case studies, looking at both successes and failures.
Yeah, looking at case studies from recent events like COVID-19, where companies had to rapidly adapt to changing governmental policies, remote work, and a hot job market for those with risk skills, shows the critical role adaptability plays in survival and success. Studying failures, such as Blockbuster's inability to adapt to streaming, or Xerox's inability to capitalize on innovations that would become standard to the PC, provides valuable lessons on the risks of complacency. These examples highlight both successful adaptations and cautionary tales, underscoring the need for ongoing readiness to change.
Well, Max, it seems like this theme of resilience and adapting arises every year as we start looking at the transition into the new year. Last year, we focused on resilience, with adaptability as one of the key ideas needed to achieve resilience. This year, with the amount of potential change in the wind that we mentioned in our last podcast, we're focused on adapting, and the leader of that effort, the adapter. This role of the adapter emerges as the cornerstone of future-proofing organization. The adapter's ability to understand and interpret the current risk environment allows businesses to stay ahead of potential threats and leverage opportunities. But by employing advanced forecasting techniques and scenario testing, the adapter can ensure that companies are not merely reacting to changes, but are preparing for them, embedding flexibility and resilience into their strategic planning. The integration of new technologies and the cultivation of an adaptable culture are fundamental aspects of the adapter's forward-thinking approach. By embracing AI and machine learning, the adapter enhances the predictive capabilities of risk management, making organizations more responsive and intelligent and risk intelligent in their operations. Cultivating an adaptable culture further supports this by fostering an environment where innovation thrives and where staff are encouraged to think critically and adapt swiftly. Finally, let me say that the adapter is not just a role, but it is a pivotal leadership approach that transcends traditional boundaries and silos within an organization. As businesses face increasing pressure from globalization shifts, demographic changes, and technological disruptions, the adapter's role becomes more and more critical in navigating these complexities. Embracing this approach to leadership means committing to a journey of continuous learning, strategic flexibility, and proactive change management, ensuring that organizations not only survive, but thrive in the ever-changing global business arena. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Crossing Thin Ice, presented by Actuarial Risk Management. If you found it valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with your colleagues. Thanks. Bye.